My name is Megan Geckler, and I'm from Philadelphia originally, but now I live in Los Angeles, and I make giant immersive installations out of flagging tape, which is an industrial, colorful material used to demarcate space on construction sites. My work's extremely colorful, but it has more to do with the architecture of the buildings that it's in, and my work is guided by the mathematical progressions between the colors. A lot of Fibonacci series stuff and a lot of algorithms and algebraic equations come into play as we transfer from one color to the other and achieve these sort of intermediate gradients between the colors in the work. It's really informed by the architecture. So a doorway, a stairwell, an architectural soffit, a beam, a column can provide like a focal point for the entire work. So a lot of the times we're working in museums because they're usually architectural examples. The best one I've ever worked in was the Wexner Center for the Arts, and that was designed by Peter Eisenman, who's an iconic deconstructivist architect. And it was just amazing to play in there. And a lot of people think that the architecture really dominates all of the art that's inside the building. And we saw that could have happened, and so we decided to sort of soak up the architecture like a sponge and to coexist with it rather than kind of be trying to overwhelm it, so that it became more of like a double installation. The architecture and then the artwork itself come together to make something that's bigger than both of the things apart. The material is flagging tape, so it's a extruded PVC film. And it comes out in these giant sheets, and then they slice it into rolls that are 150 or 300 feet long, but it's 1 3/16 inches wide. I use pretty much all of the colors I can get my hands on, and I mix them up and try to create multicolored environments. Because the material is translucent, I can overlay one color with another color and get an optical mix, like red plus yellow equals orange. Even though we only have 12 colors, we've been able to make works that look so much more colorful than just 12. So I was making art in graduate school, and I just wasn't into the kind of art I was making, and I realized that in graduate school you kind of have to develop a thing that's your own, right, that's wholly original, and you have to be able to go out there and defend it and talk about it. And the work that I was making I didn't think I really wanted to defend or talk about. So right after Y2K, I put everything in my studio into boxes, everything. And I decided I need to start completely over. So I went out to the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles. As a lot of young artists feel, when you go to the museum you feel overwhelmed by the greatness of everybody else. And you wonder, what can I do? Everything's kind of been done before. And I went to the bookstore and I picked up a magazine, and it came in this green translucent plastic bag. If I clip their logo out of the bag, it's just this green plastic, this anonymous material that's seductive, you know, because it's plastic, it's not material, it's not about textiles, it's about the future, right? So I started collecting all these anonymous, colorful plastic materials, and along the way I discovered flagging tape. When I got out of school, I made my first large-scale installation in museum, and from there I just sort of gained momentum. And museums have been the backbone of my process because they're welcoming and they have the staff and the space that it takes to make one of these pieces come alive. I also make them in nonprofits and galleries and things, but usually they're a little bit smaller because they're just less people and less funds, and it does take a village to make these.